Hi, welcome, and thank you so much for finding my video. This is Sharon, and today I am talking about my pot roast. This is not my mother's pot roast. My mother used to use a French onion soup mix along with some beef stock. I use much bolder flavors. You will start with a 4-pound chuck roast, 3 or 4 pounds, 1 brown onion, 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, a bottle of red wine, 64 ounces of veggie stock, fresh thyme, olive oil, salt, and pepper. For the wine, you don't want to use a really expensive wine. You can use one that you like to drink, but don't spend a lot of money on it. And the reason is because you're actually going to pour in the entire bottle of wine. And for the vegetable stock, you could use beef stock, you could use vegetable stock, or you could use half and half. But don't use broth. Broth is kind of watery. It doesn't have as much flavor. With stock, you have all those big, bold flavors. And it tastes like that in your final outcome, too. We're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. I've already seasoned my meat really well. Rough chop the onions, slightly smash the garlic cloves, and make sure you are seasoning both sides of the roast generously with the salt and pepper. I like to serve this with egg noodles, or my son really loves mashed potatoes, so you can be making that as well once it goes in the oven. Start off with a heavy bottom cast iron enamel coated pot. That's what I use. It's a Dutch oven. And put your olive oil in. You're going to have this on medium heat. Get it hot before you put in your meat. But don't get it smoking hot. You don't want to burn the oil, and you don't want to burn that meat. And it'll just sizzle. We're going to sear this on both sides so it's nice and caramelized. And you're going to seal all those juices in, because when you braise it in the oven later, when you're all done with this part on the stovetop, it's going to be nice and tender because you seared it first. Look at that color. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is going to be about 5 to 7 minutes per side, depending on your roast. And once it's nice and hot and seared and sealed and caramelized, you're going to take it out and set it aside. I like to use the lid of my pot. And I do this for a couple of reasons. One, I don't like to make an extra dish. Who likes to do extra dishes? So just use the lid of the pot, and look at how golden brown that is on the bottom from searing. All that is flavor. It's so good. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and put in our onions and our garlic. And I just rough chopped it. I didn't really pay attention to my cuts. I just cut it up. It doesn't have to be pretty. This is all going to get cooked down anyway. So it's going to take about a minute, maybe 2. And we're going to saute it and just get it nice and soft. And once it's nice and soft, we're going to deglaze the bottom of that pot with the wine and pour in the whole bottle of wine. If you want a cup for yourself, get another bottle, because you need the entire bottle for this recipe. So I pour it in, and I'm going to start stirring it around, get all that goodness up from the bottom, put in some thyme, and just let that simmer down and reduce. It's going to reduce until there's about a cup left. All of that is flavor in there. Just get all that up. Make sure you deglaze the bottom really well, because you want to make sure that's all up and into your sauce. Oh, it smells so delicious. Once you add the wine to the garlic and the onions, and then when you add the thyme, the smell of your house is just crazy good. So crazy good. look at that richness. That has reduced down. So what you have is a really concentrated mixture from the wine and the onions and the thyme and the garlic, and all of that is going to combine with your juices from your meat and with the vegetable stock that you put in. And it's just wonderful. So good. It smells so good. This is really my favorite. Okay, so we put our meat back in. And make sure that you put the juices that have collected on the lid back in too, because that is all flavor. And then we'll put in our stock. I'm using 1 box today because my roast isn't super thick, but sometimes it is much thicker, and you do want to almost cover the roast with the stock. So you might want to use 2 boxes. You can use half vegetable, half beef stock, or all vegetable or all beef, whatever you prefer. Or play around, see what you like best. Once the vegetable broth is in there, you're going to just incorporate the broth along with the wine that's already been reduced and the onions. Put in some more thyme. I use a lot of thyme, especially since I used fresh thyme. You can use dried thyme. Remember, if you use dried herbs, you want to actually use less than you would of fresh herbs. So just use a little bit less. But I do like a lot of fresh thyme. Those onions were beautiful. Perfect and red and gorgeous. I'm going to put my lid back on, put it in the oven at 350 degrees for 3 hours. And when I take it out, the meat is going to be juicy and tender. And I honestly didn't even need a knife to cut this up. I used a fork. For most of it, it shreds right up. It's so tender and so juicy and so delicious. Put it back in your broth in the pot and serve it with your egg noodles or your mashed potatoes, some roasted carrots, and look at that gravy in the ladle. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and it tastes so good. Make sure you have maybe some bread with it too, because you're going to want to soak all that goodness up as well. The music in the video today was courtesy of Michael Allen with michaelallenjazz.com. I appreciate it. I absolutely love it. Go over there and check it out. He's amazing. Remember to comment, like, and share. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Just look up Sharon Fuller, Mama Sharon Says, and you'll find me. Thank you so much.